Again next week, Glenn, and your company also. Hi there, Bill McDonald welcoming you back to the Mt.Gravatt lanes in Brisbane for the continuation of the Coca-Cola Tenpin Classic, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome back to the commentary again today former Victorian and Tasmanian coach Glenn McFarlane. Today's match, we see World Cup champ Cara Honeychurch up against the tenacious Queenslander in Tony Rodrick. But this tournament hasn't been very kind to the favourites so far. We've seen Jeanette Baker, Andrew Frawley and Ian Bradford all bow out. What's in store here for Cara?
Bill, this is going to be a crackerjack match because we've got Tony, who's a former winner of the Coke Classic, and Cara, a seasoned veteran or seasoned performer in Australia and, of course, overseas, and a former World Cup winner. This is one I'm really looking out for. OK, should be a beauty. Let's go and check out the two players as they warm up.
Cara Honeychurch was the 1996 World Cup champion. Also in 1996, she was voted the World Amateur Bowler of the Year. She's won the Australian Masters 3 years in a row and would be Australia's highest profile bowler.
Really all I try and do is replicate what it's like to bowl in practice. Just get up there and forget that there's lights around and there's people everywhere. Just get up there and do what I do best and just get up there and throw a good shot. It is a difficult format because it is so cutthroat. You know, you lose one game and you're out. So I don't know. I don't really feel any extra pressure. I just want to get out there and bowl well.
Today, Cara faces a very seasoned competitor in Queenslander Tony Rodrick. Tony is a previous winner of the Coke Classic who went over to the States in the late 80s to bowl on the USA Pro Tour, taking on the best bowlers in the world. So, how does he feel about his game today?
You're pretty much just focused on the shot. You've worked out, you've had the experiences I've had of being out there a long time. You know exactly what's required. You're just really focusing in on making a good shot. All the elements are irrelevant because the fact is you, the ball and the pins. And, you know, getting to that objective is what it's all about.
The cream of Australia's bowlers competing in the Coca-Cola Classic, and boy, we've seen some great games so far in the tournament. We've seen some big upsets also. Sue Castle, who's also joining us in commentary, New South Wales captain and current Australian team member. Cara, how's she looking going into this?
Oh, this is going to be one of the best matches we can expect to see. I've been looking forward to this for quite a long time.
Well, Cara's opening up. There's the first bowl, first frame, first strike. What a start for Cara.
Yeah, it's a fine shot there from Cara. You'll see coming up on the replay here, the ball comes up fairly light into the pocket, but she gets a great pin carry. It's a very big part of Cara's game.
And now the Queenslander, I guess a bit of a hometown favourite, Tony Rodrick, 41 years of age. A former winner of the Coke Classic. Let's have a look at how he opens. Oh, perfect as well. Well, it's on for young and old right from the very start here, strike for strike. So that's got to do the confidence the world of good to open like that.
It's an excellent shot there by Tony. You can see straight in the pocket.
Well, as I said, Tony, 41 years of age, sales and technical consultant. He's got a lot of experience behind him. He was runner-up in the Classic in 1988. Went the one better in 1990. Here he goes again. He's chasing the double, and he's got it. Nailed the double. Super start for him.
And of course, if either of our two players today can go all the way with the strikes, they're in for a $3,000 cash prize. Sorry, we'll make that $5,000. Look at that, it just went up for the perfect game, and that's courtesy of AMF and Goldpin.
Bit more incentive.
Tony's already had 2 perfect games, and Cara's high game to her credit at the moment is a 299, so there's no better place to throw a 300 game than right here on TV at the moment.
We'll keep an eye on Cara's technique. We'll talk about that a bit later. And nearly the perfect result again, but a single pin left standing. And Sue, we were talking a little earlier, I guess more technique and setup. She's very, very particular in what she does setting up to take her bowl.
Yeah, Cara's got a set routine, and it doesn't really matter how long it takes. She sets herself up and she goes through her routine and goes through every shot cleanly.
Closes out with a spare. Nice start to this game for Cara Honeychurch. Here we go again.
Lovely shot. She stays straight. She's worked immensely on her game over the last 3 years. If we look at her credits, what she's done through 1997, I mean, that just covers all the hard work that she's put in. She's certainly been rewarded with all the tournaments that she's won in 1997.
Yes, among those, the Australian Masters, the South Pacific Classic. And that looks good as well. That's another strike for Cara Honeychurch, and she likes it. And why not?
I might be wrong in saying this, but I think Cara's the first woman. She's won the 1995, 1996 and 1997 Australian Masters.
It's probably a feat that, I agree with you, Sue, it probably hasn't been done. That's a superb effort 3 years in a row.
Tony Rodrick setting himself. As he set up for a strike, he has.
He's on fire. Another great shot from Tony Rodrick from Queensland.
What a game so far. We're back with Tony Rodrick, Coca-Cola Tenpin Classic, looking for his 4th consecutive strike. And that's looking pretty good. Well,
yeah, Tony's left himself what we call the baby split there on the right-hand side, the 310. And it's interesting, Sue, because Tony swings the ball a fair bit. He's got a fair bit of lane here to work with to get it over to cover that spare.
Yeah, it might look like there's not much distance between the 2 pins, but there actually is quite a large difference, and it's not an easy spare to convert. And he's done that exceptionally well.
You see him changing balls there to flatten the shot out to make the spare.
Well, we've seen some great bowling, as I said, throughout the tournament, and this is a very, very good game. And Tony leads by 10, but Cara's getting ready to bowl now. Cara voted international the best female amateur bowler of the year in 1996. Let's watch her go to work. Well, she's answering every challenge. Yep.
Solid shot there from Cara.
That's an excellent adjustment from Cara on that lane. We see the first shot that she bowled on the right-hand lane just came up a little bit light. This time she looks like she's made a slight adjustment, get the ball into the pocket, and that's a solid strike for 10 pins going all down.
Well, 6 strikes, a total of 6 strikes in the game thus far. We're only in the 5th frame. So looks like being a high-scoring game if we can keep this up. Is this on the money again? Yes, it is. Oh. Fantastic performance from Cara.
Oh, fine bowling. Fine bowling. You'll see coming up, she probably didn't get out to the ball as clean as she would have liked to, but she got away with it.
Well, both of these players going out at hammer and tong, and there's absolutely nothing in it at the moment. There's Tony. He wants to get amongst the strike action again, and he does in fine style. Boy, oh boy.
So Tony's looking very solid at the moment, and if he continues at this pace, it'll be quite a high game, 200s.
I'm just wondering how we're going to get our magic moment. I mean, we've had 10 balls bowled, and out of 10 balls bowled, we've had 8 strikes between the 2 players.
Yes, that's, of course, the cool foam magic moment. We're looking for that the shot or the frame in any game that actually wins the game. It'll be a magic moment. We'll pick the best one at the end of the Coca-Cola Classic. $1,000 to the player that produces the cool foam magic moment. Here's Tony again.
That could be the magic moment we're looking for. That was a very light hit on the left-hand side by Tony, consequently being very hard to knock out the 7-pin, the corner pin on the left-hand side. Just see there in replay, no pin goes anywhere near it. And I think Tony's voice basically describes what's happened.
Well, just come up a little short, I guess, with that one. He left a couple standing, so perhaps opened the door a little for Cara and broken what's been a deadlock until now.
Cara now with 3 strikes up, looking for 4 in a row.
It's coming back in. She's got it. She's in red-hot form. She's going to be very hard to stop. 5 strikes for Cara Honeychurch. She now leads by 20 over Tony Rodrick.
Competitive. But bowling is also about meeting people and having fun. And this week, I had the chance to catch up with Australia's best-known international bowler, Cara Honeychurch. Cara won the World Cup in 1996, and I asked her to take us back to that competition and tell us how it felt to be crowned world champion.
I never allowed myself to really think about the consequences until the last ball had been bowled, and I think I just looked up and couldn't believe it, so it was a big sense of relief for me.
Cara, we all know the Commonwealth Games are just around the corner. What do you think Australia can look forward to as a possible medal tally?
I think Australia is poised to do extremely well. We have a lot of very talented bowlers, both men and women, and I'd be very disappointed if we didn't come back with at least a couple of medals and hopefully some gold medals in there at that.
I know that you bowl a lot of pressure bowling, but can you go down to your local centre and still enjoy a social game?
I guess since my win at the World Cup, I guess the pressure is even more intense than what it previously was. But I still get out there and enjoy it, and I think the day that I stop enjoying it is the day that I put my ball in my bag and I go home, because at the end of the day, it's the enjoyment of the sport that keeps me coming back, and although it is very high pressure, I still get out there and have a great time.
Thanks, Cara. So there you have it. Whether you want to be a world champion or just have fun, get down to your local bowling centre and start knocking down the pins. And who knows, we might see you in the Coca-Cola Classic in the years ahead.
So she certainly is intent on making sure that she's a contender for the first prize in the Coke Classic, $3,000 cash, and that magnificent all-expenses-paid trip to the High Roller International in Las Vegas. It's a $1 million tournament. Is this number 5? Yes, it is. Boy, oh boy. We've got raining strikes here at the Mt.Gravatt lanes. 5 consecutive strikes for Cara. If she keeps this up, well, it's going to. She's on target to have the highest score of the tournament thus far. Let's see how Tony responds. No, he didn't like that.
And of course, with our format here in the Coca-Cola Tenpin Classic, it's cutthroat. One game, you win, you move on. If you lose, that's it.
And what happened with that last shot from Tony Sue? He wasn't very pleased with it at all.
No, just threw it a little bit too light again and didn't jump up at the finish. He would have been looking for a harder finish of the bowling ball to come back and hit the pocket, and it just sort of...
Yep. Closes out with a spare. So, still solid performance from Tony.
Isn't this great? I mean, what other sport can you have basically a 25-year-old female playing a 41-year-old male, and they're basically on equal terms?
Yes, it's certainly not too many others around. It's a sport for all ages.
Come on.
And he thinks that one's going to be on the money, and it certainly is. All 10 pins in the back of the pit. So I guess a much-needed strike for Tony. Still very much within striking distance here, though. The open game still.
Cara now taking a 30-pin lead and getting up for her 8th frame.
Oh, that's unbelievable. That's 6 consecutive strikes. She's looking for a, at this stage, if she keeps going with that form, striking out, she'll have a 280 game. So Boy, this is the best exhibition we've seen, I think, so far in the tournament. She's going for number 7, and that was oh so close. Just acknowledging the crowd, and they know they're seeing a fine display of 10-pin bowling here in this game.
She was very unlucky on that shot. She still placed it out well, got the ball to come back. I've just seen nothing sort of went anywhere near the 10-pin. She was very unfortunate on that shot.
And of course, Cara, an excellent spare shooter.
Well, she's happy with that.
And it's that sort of form that has taken her to some great overseas wins in the last 12 months or so, including runner-up in the 1997 British Open.
And I think if we had to talk about experience on TV, there's no doubt Cara's in front on that, because every international tournament you compete in overseas, if you make the step ladder, you have to bowl on TV. So.
Ooh, down they go. Well, we've seen some strikes in this game.
Okay, so we're looking at Tony. If he manages to get 3 more strikes in the 10th frame, he's shooting at a possible 234 pace.
6 strikes thus far for Tony, 7 for Cara. Cara currently leads by 40.
Again, just went a little bit light on the left-hand lane. The ball didn't finish as hard as what he would have liked.
So I like the way both Cara and Tony today they're playing the last ball, giving the ball plenty of room, getting it out wide, giving it time to finish.
Yeah, they're definitely taking advantage of the condition that's been set down here.
Cleans it up nicely. Tony Rodrick. Current league average of 205. And he's come up against a red-hot Cara Honeychurch.
And Tony now with a 7 spare in the 10th so far, up to make his bonus ball.
Big finish.
Oh, you heard someone call it big finish.
Finishes with a strike.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy with himself. I think he would have liked to have done that a little earlier. But,
It's a fine score, though, 211 for Tony Rodrick of Queensland.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Tony. Like we said before, though, it's very cutthroat, and you really can't afford to make any mistakes, especially bowling against such a great bowler as Cara. You can't give her that opportunity. As we can see, she's just taken full advantage of those open frames that Tony left.
oh, well.
Now,
how did that not...
we won't see a better shot than that, even if you see it on the replay. I think it's just a matter of the pins just flying so fast, nothing will go near the 9-pin.
Yeah.
Just missed.
Here she goes to close out. As we've seen already, no problems at all.
This is a
When it
wonderful
comes to doing that for Cara.
Wonderful performance from both our competitors here today. Cara with 6 strikes in a row, in fact 7 in the match so far.
And this is our highest scoring match on the Coca-Cola Classic. Looking at a possible 248 for Cara.
And that's exactly what it's going to be. What a dominant display from the former World Cup champ. Closes out with a strike. 8 strikes. And most commanding display for a good win over Tony Rodrick, 248 to 211. Our cool phone magic moment, hard to pick in this game. There were so many of them, 15 strikes in total, but it's going to go to Cara Honeychurch. That strike in the 6th, which gave her the lead. That was in the middle of a 6-strike run. And now Glenn catches up with her.
Congratulations, Cara Honeychurch, her first up performance in the Coca-Cola Classic, and a wonderful one. 248. You must be very pleased with that win first up.
Yes, I'm very pleased, Glenn. I think the first match is always the hardest, getting the nerves out of the system. So I'm very pleased to have a win under my belt, and hopefully I'll go on and perhaps win a couple more matches.
Now, you threw 9 strikes, I should say 9s and strikes in the matches. You can't get much more than that. That included 6 in a row. But the 6th frame, that's where you really needed a strike to take the lead back off Tony.
Yes, I actually try not to focus on the score at all. I don't actually look at the scoreboard at any point during the game. I'm of the philosophy that I just get up there and try and throw my best shot every shot, and at the end of the game, if that's good enough, then that's great. So I wasn't really too concerned about that.
Well, how about that? It doesn't get much better than that, really, in the Coca-Cola 10-pin Classic. Cara Honeychurch really signalling her intentions. A magnificent debut in a game that really had everything, didn't it?
It did, Bill. That was a match that we were waiting for. High scores. Cara threw nothing but nines and strikes in the match, and she came out on top of Tony Rodrick. It was a fantastic first-up win for Cara.
Next week, another tough challenge for her, another Queenslander, Carl Bottomley.
Yes, indeed. Cara takes on Carl, and both of them are World Cup travellers in 1996. They know each other fairly well, but it's going to be another tight one as well.
OK, well, you can expect just the same sort of action next week. Make sure you come back and join us as the Coca-Cola 10-pin Classic